Did you know that there are some really major differences between male and female cats? It's the battle of both the sexes and the century. Who will win? In the red corner, representing female cats, we have Queenie, who said in a recent press release that she's here to show her opponent who really runs the world, girls. And in the blue corner, bringing his top game for the boys, is Tom, who in a pre-match interview was quoted as saying, "meow," and then rubbing his face against the interviewer's trousers. Still haven't got all the cat hair off. So, we've had some strong words exchanged, and we're ready to ring the bell. In 8 rounds, from personality to hidden abilities, it's time to decide who is best, male or female cats. But quickly before we start, Queenie and Tom would like to send a quick thank you to all their friends over at Feline Fanatics and ask that all their fans subscribe so that they can learn more about these wonderful animals. Round 1. Affection. What's the best thing about having a cat? For a lot of us, it's the cuddles. How your cat shows you affection will definitely vary more between individual kitties than between male and female cats. But there are some traits that seem gender-specific. Male cats will often be more physical about things. Head-butting you to say hello, rubbing themselves all over you, jumping into your lap or trying to groom you. When they play, they'll often get kinda rough, using their claws and teeth more than you, their human playmate, might like. But don't assume that your kitty is doing this to hurt you. It's actually just a further sign of their affection. They're getting overexcited by the experience of playing with their best bud, and they're getting carried away and playing with you the way they would play with another cat. Female cats, on the other hand, will often be more subtle in their affections. They might sit next to you on the couch, but they might not actually deign to sit in your lap. They might follow you around the house, but they won't be yowling for affection the whole time the way a male cat might. Studies show that female cats tend to be less interested in playing with their humans directly. Your girl might prefer to wrestle with a catnip mouse or a feather wand, rather than with your arm. Whether you consider this a good thing or a bad thing is probably very dependent on your pain tolerance. Interestingly, this dynamic is almost completely reversed for cats who haven't been spayed or neutered. Intact male cats will feel driven to roam as far away from home as possible, searching for female cats to mate with. Their excess testosterone will often make them aggressive, both with other males and sometimes their humans. Female cats who are in heat, meanwhile, tend to get super clingy. Partially because going through heat is just generally a tough time for your kitty. She'll likely be achy, hormonal, and unable to understand why she can't just go out and find a mate, and a hug from their human friend is one way that they can cope with it. The other reason is because female cats in heat feel a much stronger urge than normal to scent mark their surroundings, because they need to advertise that they're in heat to any passing male. Since you're part of their surroundings, this can often lead to your cat rubbing obsessively against you, trying to cover every part that they can reach with their scent. However, since most pet cats are fixed, we have decided to go with Tom on this one. The boys win this round. Round 2. Territoriality. Queenie would like to point out that one of the likely reasons that male cats are so much more affectionate with their humans is because they find it harder to form similar relationships with other cats. Queenie then followed this up with a personal comment about Tom not having any friends. Feral cats, who don't have human owners, have surprisingly clear gender roles. Female ferals will often form colonies around a common source of food or shelter. These colonies aren't exactly matriarchal in nature, because no cat is going to acknowledge anyone as boss, not even if they're another cat. But they are matrilineal, meaning that they're based around the family relationships between sisters and mothers and aunties. Male cats are allowed to stay in these colonies when they're kittens, but then get driven out once they reach a certain age. These cats go on to form large territories that might overlap with the territories of multiple colonies of female cats, and they guard them viciously from other males. Feral male cats will sometimes have positive interactions with the female cats in these colonies, aside from mating, we mean, and on rare occasions they might even step in to help with the kittens. But when two males meet, It will basically never end well. As a result, if you own a male cat who is past puberty, then it's probably a good idea to wait until you've got them neutered before you start trying to introduce another boy to your household. Otherwise, one or both cats are likely to interpret the other as an intruder and act accordingly. Neutered males find it much easier to accept other cats, but they frequently prefer the company of humans over their feline fellows. When it comes to compatibility with other kitties, female cats come out on top. Round 3. Exploration. Tom would like to issue a rebuttal to Queenie's comments about feral cats. Although male cats who are out living in the wild don't generally spend a lot of time with other cats, they do spend a lot of time exploring. Once puberty hits, an unneutered male cat's mind is only on 3 things. 1. Girls. 2. Girls. And let's not forget 3. Girls. Unlike female cats, who are only interested in finding a mate during the times of year that they are in heat, male cats are ready to mate at any time. When a female cat is interested in finding a boy, she'll release a special pheromone scent in her urine and in the scent glands on her body, which to a male cat will act like a giant, glowing neon sign saying "Wanted, literally any man." Male cats will travel for miles looking for a whiff of this scent, and as a result, tend to be a lot braver about traveling farther afield. At home, this tendency can cause even neutered males to be more confident about investigating new pieces of furniture in the home or scratching at closed doors. If your little man is an indoor cat, then they might spend more time trying to escape and explore the big wide world. Female cats, meanwhile, are often more cautious. They don't need to move around as much when it comes to finding a mate, because the boys tend to come to them. And from an evolutionary perspective, it's generally better for them to save their energy. Moving around and taking risks uses up a lot of energy that could be better used for making kittens. Plus, a female cat who keeps shifting territory and ending up in unfamiliar places where she isn't familiar with the dangers is more likely to end up endangering any kittens she does have, because she will find it harder to find a safe place to have them. This isn't to say that female cats are cowards, as Queenie is urgently jumping in to tell us. They're just sensible. Adult male cats in the wild will only ever have to look out for themselves and have no responsibilities besides that. Female cats, meanwhile, have to look out for not only themselves, but for their kittens and, if they live in a colony, for their sisters and mothers and aunties. Taking risks is a lot less fun when you've got so many responsibilities. Our judges sympathize with Queenie's position, but the fact remains, when it comes to who is the best at exploring, male cats take the prize. Round 4. Hunting prowess. Cuddly and cute as they may be, cats haven't always been kept simply as house pets. Back in the day, our four-legged friends had to work for a living, if you can imagine such a thing. Queenie and Tom certainly can't. The main job that these career kitties were hired to do was pest control. Back then, communities would keep large supplies of wheat and grain in big storehouses to eat during the winter when no crops would grow. If mice and rats got into the grain storage, then that could be the difference between the community surviving the winter or starving to death, and so cats were an invaluable help. Female cats especially. Sorry, Tom. In fact, the world record holder for the most mice caught by one cat in their lifetime was a female tortoiseshell cat who lived at the Glenturret Whiskey Distillery in Scotland. Between 1963 and 1978, Towser the Mouser caught an average of over 3 mice a day. By the end of her life, she was thought to have killed 2,899 of them. To get an idea of how many that is, if you for some reason decided to place all of Towser's victims in a line, from nose to tail, then you would have over 2 miles of mice. And a lot of explaining to do if anybody saw you doing it. Tom would like to point out that there hasn't been any official research done on whether male or female cats are better at killing, and although he's right, there is a lot of anecdotal evidence to suggest that the girls are superior. There's even a scientific explanation. It's theorized that because female cats have to hunt not just for themselves but for their kittens, and because they eventually have to try and pass those skills on to the next generation, they naturally get more practice. As such, our judges have decided this round goes to the girls. Round 5. Social skills. Male cats may not be as good at mousing, but according to Tom, they are better at the house pet side of the equation. Despite their penchant for roaming, which is more of a problem for unneutered cats, when they are in the house, they're often much more keen to hang around their humans. Male cats might even follow their human from room to room, going out of their way to check out what they're doing and trying to participate in their activities. Female cats can also follow their humans around, but are more likely to do it from a distance. Instead of trotting around at their human's heels, a female cat might prefer to find a nice high perch to sit on, so that they can watch their human from on high instead. Queenie claims that this is called being sophisticated, and that male cats, by comparison, are meddling busybodies. Our judges think that she might have a point, but also that it's more fun to have a cat running around after you, rather than sitting up high and out of reach. As such, they're giving the boys this round. Round 6. Looks. Queenie and Tom are both looking beautiful tonight in that old feline classic, a fur coat. Cat coat colors are determined by genetics, and although most colors are unisex, some are gender-specific. Ginger is the most famous of these, being generally thought of as a male color, although surprisingly, some of the more fashion-forward female cats will often also sport this color coat. Here's the sciencey bit. Ginger fur is caused by a gene that is carried on the X chromosome, which causes the eumelanin, the pigment that causes black or brown coloring, in the cat's coat to be entirely replaced by pheomelanin, red pigment. If a cat has only ginger genes, then they get a solid ginger coat. If they have the ginger gene combined with a black or brown gene, then they end up with a coat that has patches of ginger and patches of black or brown. Most male cats, like Tom, have only one X chromosome. If that chromosome carries a ginger gene, then they get one copy and end up with a fully ginger coat. Female cats, like Queenie on the other hand, have two X chromosomes. In order for a female cat to be fully ginger, she needs to have the ginger gene on both her X chromosomes. Since this would require her to have inherited the gene from her father and her mother, it's significantly less likely to happen. Only 20% of ginger cats are female. Instead, female cats with the ginger gene are more likely to have a copy of the brown or black gene on their other X chromosome, resulting in a coat with patches of ginger and patches of brown or black. In other words, a tortoiseshell cat. These tortie cats will sometimes have a copy of a completely separate gene that causes patches of white fur, resulting in a calico coat. It is generally impossible for a male cat to have a tortoiseshell or calico coat. The only exception occurs with intersex cats, whose chromosomes, instead of having the typical male configuration of XY, are instead XXY. Because of this, almost all male calicos are infertile and unable to pass the genes on. Now, we think that both our competitors tonight look positively stunning, but since female cats have a wider range of options in their wardrobe than male cats, our judges have determined that Queenie wins this round. Round 7. Temper. You might have assumed from all the talk of territoriality that male cats are the ones who are the most aggressive, and you'd be right, for unneutered males. But when it comes to fixed cats, at least according to popular opinion, female cats are actually the feistier ones. Tortoiseshells and calicos especially are stereotypically known for their tortitude, the cutesy name for these pretty cats' tendencies to lash out when something doesn't go their way. Males, meanwhile, tend to be calmer and more playful. Ginger cats especially are stereotyped as being incredibly friendly, if a little himbo at times. Studies so far into this phenomenon have not shown any meaningful difference in aggression between male and female cats, but most of the studies conducted have also had a relatively limited sample size. There are a few possible explanations for the popular idea that female cats are more aggressive. One possibility is that it's a side effect of their being more social in general with other cats. When you're living in a large group, you need to be good at getting on with others, but also good at setting proper boundaries. Or it could be because female cats tend to be smaller than males and may feel the need to make up for their size by being more aggressive. Or possibly, it's just a matter of self-fulfilling prophecy. Owners who have heard the stereotypes about male and female cats might subconsciously treat them differently according to their expectations. This could then affect the cat's behavior as a result. Queenie would like to put forward the fourth explanation that male cats are annoying and female cats are only bad-tempered because they have to put up with them. We are ignoring her. The judges have come down firmly on the side of Tom and the male cats for this round. Round 8. Problem solving. When it comes to problem solving, male cats tend to go for the brute force method. The shortest road between 2 points is a straight line, and the simplest way to get something that you want if you're a cat is to either shove at it with your paws until it opens up, or the preferred method for most kitties, screech at the top of your little lungs until a helpful human comes over and opens it for you. Female cats, however, tend to be more self-sufficient and strategic in their approach. They are more likely to study the problem from all angles until they've worked out the best offense. They're much less likely to yell for human help as a first resort, although obviously they'll use it if they have to. Sometimes they might even choose to copy the humans. If they're trying to operate something designed for humans, like a cupboard door or a cat treat bag, then female cats are more likely to study what their owners do and try to copy that. Queenie says that this is a sign of female feline intelligence, while Tom claims that it just overcomplicates things. Our judges prefer Queenie's method, however, not least because it involves much less screaming. And so this round goes to the female cats. The result. At the end of our rounds, the votes are in and it's a tie. Well, that was something of a letdown, but at least we all learned some interesting things about male and female cats, eh? Queenie and Tom? And they've both settled down for a catnap, the one thing that they definitely both have in common. Right, while they're having a snooze, why not check out this video on how to tell if your cat think you're an idiot? Queenie and Tom recommended it specially.